Average Woodsman here, back with another video. So we've been getting some pretty good weather lately. It's been getting down in the 30s and 40s at night and the 50s, 60s, and 70s during the day. And so I've been doing a bunch of scouting because General Gun is coming up. Do some hunting, hopefully get a deer. And today I was out scouting, like I said, and figured I would maybe set up a little camp, fry up some salt-cured pork from a hog that I killed earlier in the year, and just kind of maybe make some Bushcraft tongs or something like that to go ahead and flip the pork in the pan and just kind of have a relaxing day around camp and then get back out scouting. So let's get into the video. All right, so we want to get ourselves a relatively straight branch. I'm going to use a green one, obviously, because it's going to be going near a fire. If it's too dry, it's going to burn a lot easier. This is just a piece of eastern red cedar. Take my silky gom boy out here, and I'm going to cut myself 2 pieces of this. We don't need it to be too long, but I do want it to be relatively straight. That's one of the things that I do want. I do want it to be relatively straight. First thing that I'm going to want to do is get these pieces off. Alright, so before we split this down the middle to obviously make our tongs, we're going to want to do a whipping knot on this to keep this from splitting too much when we come down, when we baton this to split this, and then we're also going to place a small toggle in here to help hold this open for when we're using this over the fire. So I've done the whipping knot in other videos, but I'll go ahead and do it again real quick for you guys. With this one, honestly, it's not a super big deal for it to be really long. Doesn't need to be the full length of this. You're using this, like I said, more in this instance to specifically keep this from splitting further than you want it. So it really depends on how big how big the tongs are. I probably cut this a little too long, but it doesn't really matter. They're just going to be longer, larger tongs. So, which is not a bad thing when you're over a fire. So I'm going to put these down here a little ways, about right here. You're going to make just a small loop. Go ahead and tie that down, or hold that down. And then you're going to come around this. You're going to start wrapping this around. Try and keep it somewhat uniform. It doesn't have to be perfect. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal, especially in this instance. You're not going for pretty, you're going for functional, because you really need this to not split any more than you specifically want it to. This is kind of like your gauge. When you split it down and you put your toggle in here, if you didn't have a whipping knot on this, it would continue to split all the way down this stick. So that's really the reason for this. Just continue to wrap it as tight as possible. And that's what you're gonna do. Get along this last one. You're gonna put this through here, like so. You're gonna pull this, which is going to pull this one tight. And now you're going to have, this is nice and tight. This isn't going anywhere. And like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. We're not going for this to be aesthetically pleasing. We're going for this to be as functional as possible. So go ahead and take our knife and we'll off here and off here. If you want to, you can always burn these ends. I'm going to go ahead and burn these real quick just to kind of seal them, but you don't have to. This is not going anywhere. This is just something that I'm going to use today. I'm not going to keep this in my collection for the rest of my life or anything, But I'm going to go ahead and burn these ends real quick. So I'm going to show you guys, while I have this lighter out, a quick, like a little tip on storing your lighter. First off, you want to wrap all your Bic lighters in a little bit of duct tape, because that's multifunctional. Obviously, duct tape can be used for a million things, but it can also be used for a fire extender. I also like to duct tape a little piece of bank line here, because if this were to ever get wet, you can actually use a technique where you blow into the lighter, the head of the lighter, and you shake and blow and shake, and this will dry the lighter out. This will rapidly dry this lighter out so you can use it. Especially if you don't have like an Exotac fire sleeve, which is waterproof. If you just have a regular Bic lighter, or maybe this is your secondary Bic lighter, like for me, this is my secondary Bic lighter. I keep one Bic lighter on me and an Exotac fire sleeve, and then this one I keep in my kit, so you can have it wrapped in duct tape. You have this little handle here, so you can shake it really hard, get all that water out, and blow all that water out, and then you can use it. It'll help with that, get this dry if it were to get wet. And then what I like to do when I store mine, one of the things that I like to do is I take a piece of bank line here, and I'll wrap the bank line around my lighter, like so. Wrap my bank line around my lighter. And I'll just wrap it like this. And then when I get down to the end, I'll just do like a little loop right here. Just do a little loop here over it. Because bank line, the way that bank line is, it's a tarred mariner's line. It holds a knot really quick, and this keeps, I don't know if you guys can see this, this keeps, the bank line goes right underneath this, so this won't press, when you put this in your bag, it won't press this down and release all of your fuel out of this. So this thing is nice and secure in here, and you can place this anywhere in your bag loose like this, and it won't depress this and release all your fuel. So that's just like a quick trick to do with your lighter. All right, now that we have this, we're going to go ahead and baton this down, split it out. One thing I do like to do with mine is make them a little bit more round along the edges. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Like an actual set of tongs. They're kind of rounded, so they easily pick up items when you're eating. So I started off with pine just to get it going, and now I got a bunch of oak on here, which will give me a nice bed of coals to cook over. I'm just gonna let this burn down. All right, so while that burns down, I figured I'd show you guys what I have here. This is some delicious, I have it just in this old Publix package. And I have a bunch of this salt cured pork from when from a hog that I shot earlier in the season. I brought a couple Hawaiian rolls, and I'm just gonna make me a pork sandwich. You could eat this, I could eat this the way it is. It's cured, so it's 100% safe to eat. But fried up in a pan with some on those little Hawaiian rolls is just, it's next level delicious. So let me let this die down, and I'll go ahead and throw some of these in the pan, and we can cook it up. All right, so it died down quite a bit. I have this little folding skillet that I got. It is titanium, and think this is like the perfect day to test it. So I'm just gonna throw this bad boy on here. Throw a little bit of that salt cured pork in there. Make me a couple sandwiches real quick. This thing is the perfect little packable folding skillet. Folds right up, you can just throw it down in your pack. It works really well. Kind of windy today, so ashes are kind of blowing around, but it's not going to hurt anything. It's a hot fire. That's why it's nice to have a good pair of leather gloves. I cannot even begin to tell you guys how good this smells. And get all this meat on there. All right, cheers. Oh man, that's good. So salty, crispy. You don't even need anything on this. You don't need mayo or anything else. Mustard. How salty and crispy the pork is. It's soft and sweet Hawaiian roll. It's just delicious. That's why I'm a big fan. That's why I'm a big fan of hog hunting. A lot of guys, they'll kill the wild hogs and they won't eat them. I like to eat them. You have that pork loin, you have the ribs, you have the quarters. I mean, you can do salt cured pork like this that's just super flavorful. It can be eaten on the trail, or you can cook it up over a fire like this. It's just delicious. I don't know why people don't eat wild hogs. I know a lot of guys think that they're dirty and gross. If you shoot older boars, a lot of times they've been in a lot of fights. They have a lot of testosterone. The meat's really gamey. Sometimes it even has like these big scars and they're kind of infected looking. It's really gross. But if you shoot a sow, especially a younger sow, the meat's really tender and it's just delicious. Can't beat it.